Hello viewers, and welcome again to Discovering Truth, and I am Pastor Forbes from the Gateway, Abiding Word Ministries here in the Gambia. We are in part 4 now of our interesting discussion. The theme is our national turnaround capital. And as I said, many people have been blessed by this program. It's 28 years old and 1 month, and because it's literally global, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on TFN, it's on Paradise TV, it's on Wow Kertian. It means that the reach is wide, so that the principles we are sharing and discussing are not just for us as a country. Yes, my focus more is on my country because I love it with all my heart. It's the one God gave to me. That's where I was born, here in Dipakunda, by the way. But the truths are timeless, and we can use them, glean from them to better our lives. We have been discussing the fact that we believe that every nation has two dependable capital that can bring a turnaround for them. And many nations have benefited. The first one is the human capital. God put people in a country. It does not matter the size. And also, within the boundaries of that country, either under the earth, under the water, on the ground, in the air, putting all that together, there's a natural resource. There's a natural resource. There are countries where water is exported to nations that need water. There are countries that have technical assistance cooperation, where they send lawyers, doctors, engineers, nurses, teachers, agriculturists to help other countries. That is, their human capital has been so developed, their human resource, that it's now exportable, and the export does not bring shame to the home. So there is natural resource and there is human resource, and there is a pre-appointed time for the explosion in prosperity of each country, regardless what it says. One of the first things that is important, as we are told, if you want to solve a problem, the first thing you must do is to acknowledge it exists. Some people have even said that once you acknowledge it exists, you are 50% halfway down to solving it. Because if you don't acknowledge it existed and you bury your head like an ostrich in the sand, then there's nothing to solve, because you don't even believe there's a problem. And sometimes it means that we have to shut down. As somebody will say, look at the man in the mirror, look at ourselves in the face, and start talking to ourselves. The human capital for me is very important, because it's the human capital that will harness and transform the natural capital. When God Almighty breathed his life, his breath into Adam, it says that God planted a garden. He took time, planted, cultivated a garden. There was a river that had 4 tributaries, well watered, and he put the man in the garden and told him, tend it and keep it, cultivate it and take care of it. Transform this garden into a beautiful world. Because this sand you are seeing, there is silicon there. You can make glasses. You can make semiconductors. You can make integrated circuits, IC chips. You see this air, you can use it, and you can take it into aeroplanes and people can fly. You see this water, you can do water sports. You can purify it. You can dam it. You can make lakes. You can do many things. You see the vegetation, you can do. It was the human resource embedded by the divine wisdom of God, with no excuse, but determined, ready to do something, use the intelligence of God, consistently working and improving until the transformation. So we look at Dubai, we look at Israel, we look at Libya, what Libya did until they made that largest, I think it was, man-made lake. Dubai, what it was, a desert, what it has become. Israel, so hot. Look at what it has become in agriculture, in patents. No less than 50-60% of the global patents come from that tiny land. How large is Jamaica? But you can't ignore them in sports. Athletics particularly. And ladies and gentlemen, nation by nation. And sometimes you look at our continent, you look at the Congos, you look at our big brother in West Africa, Nigeria, you look at countries, and you tend to see an incongruence. Not for lack of resources, natural or human. So we must be able to start identifying what is the issue and try to really, and I will suggest, really pull away from cliches that we have. Oh, the children have 80 contact hours. I hear phrases like that, 90 contact hours. These contact hours, are they contacting? Do the children actually contact? Or are they distracted? Are they jaded? Are they swooned into another world? What's the balance between entertainment and education? The focus, skills. It's good to say, we have this project, that TVET. We love these projects, and the projects come with cars and laptops and study tours and all the gamut of it. At the end of it, can that carpenter make a straight stool that's not wobbly? Can that welder weld something? I remember once a scenario where somebody fixed a fan. And when he turned it on, the fan fell down, rotating. Basic, maybe the person didn't screw it well or something. Masonry, straight lines, electricity. A friend of mine told me how in their first year in university, they were given a plug, a 3-pin plug, and a 3-core cable, 1 meter. And they were told to neatly connect the cable into the plug. He said he did his quick. Some people kept on cutting. The problem is not the plug. Neither is the problem the cable. The problem is here. And this is developed in school, in training, in home training also. Home training. I repeat, home training. Also, religious training. Where morality, ethics, humility, determination, the desire for excellence, no spirit of jealousy, envy, resentment, anyan, as we say here, but the desire to be better and to acknowledge other people doing it and not try to pull them down and destroy them. Ladies and gentlemen, in the 19th chapter of the book of Luke in the New Testament, which is the third gospel in the New Testament, Gospel of Matthew, then Mark, then Luke, in chapter 19, the story of Jesus entering into Jerusalem, what we call the Palm Sunday or triumphant entry or triumphal entry or the Passion or Holy Week as you know it, those 7 days before Easter. There's a verse that says Jesus Christ stood over Jerusalem and he wept. And he said, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, if only you knew the things that worked for your peace." It's like saying, "Oh, Gambia, oh, Gambia." And it can be your nation. "Oh, England, oh, England. Oh, Kenya, oh, Kenya. Oh, Bolivia, oh, Bolivia." It could be your nation. "Oh, Russia, Russia." He said, if you know the things that work for your peace and your prosperity have come to you, but they have passed by your eyes. And because of that, you are journeying the slippery slope into servitude, you and your children. And then Jesus Christ concludes by saying, because you did not recognize the day or the time of your visitation. That scripture we read, that is our foundational scripture for this message, our national turnaround capital, was that God has predetermined times, pre-appointed times for upliftment. And Jesus Christ, he actually wept and said, because you do not know or you have not recognized the time of your visitation. So the enemy will come in, hem you in, and from freedom you will go back into slavery by choice. Because you ignored, you trivialized, you pushed aside the non-negotiable core, fundamental and foundational essentials of life. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if I didn't do well in school, technically or academically, I just refused, and somebody else took the advantage and the opportunity and the knowledge and the training and the discipline, and they exerted themselves and put pressure on themselves, and you give both of us the same job, what I come out with will be sad. What they come out with will be joyful, and I will be jealous and envious and bitter and resentful and maybe even greedy and want to wish that they die or play the African electronics, as we call it. Chat him, sussle him small so that he will die. Even if I succeed in doing that, will that make me a better person? No. What would have happened? We have just lost one part of the human capital, and I am no better added value. So we need to look back and come away from cliches and predetermined contact hours and this and that and that. No. And embrace something that is different. I've forgotten who it was that said, I think an American president, that doing the same thing all the time and expecting different results is his definition of insanity. We are mad. We are crazy. In Aku, we go say, we know well. Because the same method will give you the same results. When we look at every sector in our country that we are challenged with, that we talk about, that we argue about, that goes into parliament, and there is park, peg, all these things we talk about all the time. We're just going in circles, and time is going. Time is going. And so we lament that we were independent at the same time. Look at where South Korea is. Look at where Singapore is. Look at where Dubai is. Look at where this country is. Look at where that country is. Something has to give, because we understand that the basic that we have, that we need, we already have. It's me, it's you, the Gambian born here. So that Gambian who turned around that nation's environmental policy is a Gambian, went to school here. So what has happened? And that's why, much as we must welcome external help, ladies and gentlemen, it should be exactly what it is. H-E-L-P, help. You know, in the Bible, when God brought the woman to Adam, he called her a helpmeet, or a suitable companion, or a helper. What does that basically mean? It means somebody who comes alongside you while you are doing something, while you are trying to do something. Not somebody who comes and tells you, do it this way. This is the blueprint. It worked there. It must work here. No. Dynamics are different. Context is key in everything. Nobody can tell me what I need more than I know. God tells me, and I'm good. So somebody cannot come from Peru and tell me, do it this way. No. But somebody can come from Peru and say, what have you been doing? So we've been doing this, we've been doing that, we've been doing that. And this is the yield we are getting. So, okay, have you considered doing this? It's like this thing we call appropriate technology, where you are able to improvise and get the same results. The other day I noticed on Twitter or so, a gentleman in Kenya or Uganda driving a car he made himself on the highway. It has no body, he's just sitting in the chair. But the mechanics are the same. The engineering is the same. The moving of the pistons and the tappets is the same. Now, of course, he'll have to fine-tune it and let it have a body and then maybe seatbelt and airbag and all that and all that and all that. But the framework, he already has it. If he doesn't have that, then we have a serious problem. That is when we have to import and import and import. And of course, when we import, prices go up, the need for the dollar increases, and we struggle. The taxman wants to take our tax, we don't have the money, and it's a failure waiting to happen with speed. It's a spiral down. So can we actively say, let's re-engineer this human capital in terms of its output, its efficiency, its excellence, and its effectiveness. So in health, in education, both academia, TV, and all that. And I, for one, think that competitive examinations must come back. People cannot be graduating when they have not even seen their results. That means we have 100% pass rate in our country. If that is so, then we must all be smiling all the way to the bank. Companies must be making serious money because their staff are proactive, they are A-class material. If this that I'm saying is true, and somebody sold us a lie, we have drunk the wrong Kool-Aid. And if we keep doing that, the outcome will not be anything we should be shocked at, because it's cause and effect. Now, it is this well-endowed, well-sharpened, focused human capital that will now look at the ground and say, look, these Jahali and Pachar villages that we have been talking about since the 70s, and we have pumped millions into it, and only God knows how many people have built houses from Jahali and Pachar, and we are still importing rice. It means we can look inwards and maybe inconvenience ourselves for a while and do that, and do Findi, and do Chere. Findi is becoming the latest superfood. Fonio is being sold in the stores, the Whole Food stores in America, and making money about it. Findi is here, it's like grass. Why can't we do that? Project this, GAM project that, GAM project this, GAM project that. I don't think it takes 57 years, 50 years to be able to know how to grow rice for the nation to eat rice. And this goes into every other sphere. Every other sphere. It's a joy to hear about the Gambian footballer Yankuba Minte and others who are there, signed up for £30 million and all that. But I'm sure that young man can tell you that He's not playing football with just his 2 feet. He's playing that ball here. He's transformed his talent and penchant for football from school, from just ordinary 10 kicking anyhow and playing with anger and temper and like a Gambian crying off the field, and has refined that talent into skill, or allowed it to be refined into skill, and is playing the ball from here. Boxers do not just use this, they box from here. Think of anybody who is a champion. Federer, the tennis, Emma Raducanu, the Williams, Mr. Woods. They are not just playing with the hand. They are looking up, they are calculating. Wind speed, snipers are not just shooting. There is wind speed, there is physics, projectile. There is E is equal to MC squared. So a lot of the things that we've done in school that we thought, I can't see the relevance. No. And maybe arguably it's the way they are taught by some boring teachers, but the facts are still there. The way a gun is shot, there's an arc, there's wind speed, there are many things. Tourism, one of our natural resources since the 70s. Mr. Harding, Vingresor, Wings. I remember those names. The orange sign. 73, 83, 93, 203, 213, 223, 51 years. Are we still dishing out the same product, the same bands, the same things we do all the time? Or the Gambia needs an all year round tourism. Human capital, natural resource. And ladies and gentlemen, for everything that you give yourself an excuse and call it a reason, in that same thing, somebody else had turned it around. Like I told you the parable in the last episode of the man that gave his 3 servants talents. 2 came and doubled the talents. The 3rd one came and gave all kinds of reasons, and it was taken away from him. And believe me, if you follow that 1 talent that was given to the other man, he doubled it, maybe even trebled it. So the things we give as an excuse, they are working in Dubai. They are working in Rwanda. They are working in South Korea. They are working in Mauritius. They are working in the Bahamas. They are working in Botswana, Cape Verde. They are working. It's not that the land is angry, or we say the gods are angry. No, it's not that the waters are angry. It's not that the sun has refused to shine. The rains are not coming. It is us. Somebody once asked me from the other side of Africa, do you harvest rainwater in your country? And I laughed. And I thought, maybe, but not nationally. Why do we have a national electricity problem? We should not. Average sunlight time is 5 hours, 20 minutes in this country. We shouldn't. We should be able to feed ourselves. I am told that and I think it's true, there are people who fly from outside to come and do the bar here in Gambia, or maybe even the law school itself. Can we turn that also around? We should. We should. Our beach, the Gambian beaches are one of the cleanest, whitest. Can we do something? Or is it just a Sunday beach place and then with the litter that's left for KMC to come and clean? What about the River Gambia? ecologies that were supposed to be there along. God has given us all that we need to turn our nation around. But we have to ask ourselves, why are we not doing it? And when we get the answer and really speak truth to ourselves and decide to turn it around, we'll start seeing progress. And the more we push it, the more progress will happen. And give ourselves 15, 20 years. We'll be happy and glad that we did. Let me stop here. I think I'll extend this to 2 more parts until I come your way next week. This is Pastor Forbes saying, let's do the thinking. Nobody can develop our country for us. And that goes for you. Whichever country you come from, nobody can develop it for you. You have to do it yourself. Have a good day, and may God keep us all.